We listen to what Clinks has to say. We read Clinks like lunch. Occasionally colleagues attend courses. But I think in the main what we value is the overview that Clinks can provide, what's happening in the voluntary sector, and the services we know it provides to service delivery organisations. We're not a service delivery organisation, but if we were, I think it would be invaluable to know how to navigate the new systems.
We've been in a strategic alliance with Clinks for many years, and I've always found you to be good partners. And when it comes to developing programmes of work together that help the wider sector, I think that's where you really, for me, that's the key service, it's the partnership.
When I took over at Changing Tunes 8 years ago, I had a lot of knowledge of the voluntary sector and fundraising, but not of the criminal justice sector. And it was through Clinks that I became aware of other organisations and what they were doing in the criminal justice sector. I also became involved in things like a Ministry of Justice working group, and that was an invaluable head start for me and allowed me to see the bigger picture.
I think in criminal justice field there are lots of small charities like arts organisations, and we work with a big organisation, prison service, probation services. So how you get a voice for those smaller organisations to represent to the bigger public sector bodies is a crucial issue for all of us, and that's what Clinks manages to do.
Actually, you provide a policy voice. Even in this current context where people find it quite hard to be heard, you're still doing that for your members.
Clinks themselves are a brilliant resource. From newsletters, I get the light lunch. Allows me to save time. I can look at kind of information that I need to, and rather than sort of trawling through various websites and organisations and what have you, it gives me it there at my fingertips.
I wouldn't have the time to go through all the policy papers that you go through, and so the briefings that I've received over the years have been invaluable.
And as an organisation as well, I feel like I've been really well supported with things like consultancy, which helped us and gave me the space to actually then plan for the future and make sure that we were kind of sustainable.
Clinks is a good partner because it's not about them, it's about the sector. And genuinely, when I'm in a partnership with you and colleagues at Clinks, that's really what I feel, that it is really about the sector, and we come together representing different parts of the sector, but together make the most of what we've got.
The fact that we come to events such as this and we're able to network with people that we wouldn't otherwise be able to, the value of that is priceless, really.
I mean, just tonight I've already been to speak to Justin, who was speaking earlier. You know, I've given him my card. We're Bristol based as well. We'll meet up and we'll discuss how we can work together. And he's already told me of somebody he knows who's musical in Guy's Miles Prison where we work. So we'll make contact with that person and ensure that we can work together.
You know, Clinks as an organisation I've got in my business plan, so it's kind of one of those things where they are a resource for me. They're not just a case of, you know, just an organisation that I kind of go to and that's it. It's kind of, they're a resource that I know that I can trust and rely upon.
We value Clinks at the heart of the voluntary sector and the interface with the voluntary sector and the criminal justice system. And at a time when government is moving at a pace to change, it feels like everything, it's important to have a sane, sensible organisation that keeps in focus the needs of people in the justice system, people in prison, people on probation, and helps voluntary sector organisations respond to them in the right way.
Well, I think our members face two particular challenges at the moment. One is staying abreast of a very rapidly changing policy environment, and the other is the economic challenges of survival in very difficult times. So on the first point, Clinks's information networks, particularly through Light Lunch and other information mechanisms, our events and so on, provide organisations with that vital information they need about changes in the criminal justice system, both changes to funding but also changes to delivery and what's impacting on the lives of offenders. And the other is, in terms of funding, is that both reforms and the economic climate are coming at the same time, and they both have separate challenges. So for organisations to be fully aware of where there is funding and where there is resources that enable them to do the important work they do, I think is really vital, and Clinks does that through things like Grant Finder and through the regular bulletins that go out about where there are funding opportunities and where there is the opportunity to generate new income.